What's up, y'all? So today we're going to be discussing a film called Queen and Slim. So Queen and Slim is a 2019 film with a runtime of 2 hours and 12 minutes, and it's directed by Melina Matsoukas. Queen and Slim stars Daniel Kaluuya, who is a fantastic actor, one of my favorites for sure, and he plays the role of Slim, as well as Jodie Turner, who plays the role of Queen. Now, if you don't recognize Daniel Kaluuya, he was also in Get Out, Judas and the Black Messiah, which is a fantastic film, Black Panther, as well as a ton of other films. And Jodie Turner is also really great in this film. So in terms of plot, essentially Queen and Slim has a very straightforward and easy plot, but the way it's done and the way it's handled is what really makes this film shine. So essentially the film centers around Queen and Slim, who start out just on a date. They're two people who are just meeting each other for the first time, two people who haven't met in the past, don't have any sort of background together. Things go south, however, when the pair are returning from their date and they get stopped by the police. The situation escalates when the police officer and Slim get into a physical altercation, and the policeman actually ends up getting shot and killed. Now, these two, Queen and Slim, are essentially tied together by this incident and go on the run, essentially to avoid the police. In terms of critic reviews, the film did fantastic upon release. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 89%. On IMDb, it has a 7.1 out of 10. And then on Google Audience Reviews, 89% of people liked it, and I would characterize myself as one. In terms of genres, this film is definitely a romance, crime drama type film. There's essences of survival, but essentially the film is a romance and it focuses on the two main characters, Queen and Slim. So in terms of the characters, Queen and Slim are fantastic. And the reasoning why is because essentially Queen and Slim are polar opposites. Whereas Queen views the world one way, Slim is quite the opposite. And that clash between them is what really makes this film so engaging. You know, in that sense, you as a viewer, no matter who you are, you're gonna relate to one over the other. And that's just how it's gonna be. You know, a lot of people like me might enjoy both of them and their dialogue, but inherently you're gonna side with one over the other because there are two very different ways of viewing the world. So because of that, you know, as they say, opposites attract. Because of that, you're really drawn into their relationship. Both the characters, Queen and Slim, are so well developed. They have intricate backstories that help add to their characters, help show you as a viewer why they are the way they are. The dialogue is fantastic in terms of, even if you don't side with one of the characters, you're still going to be drawn into how they clash and how they work together against this impossible situation, even when the odds are stacked against them, and even though they start to even dislike each other because of how different they are. In terms of if it holds your attention, I would say it very much does, but that depends on who you are as a person. Now, if you're looking for high action and intensity, this might not be the film for you because it's very much a character piece, as I mentioned before, that's focused on the development of the relationship between these two characters and how they deal with this stressful situation. It is not a survival action film about besting the cop. There is aspects of that, of course, because of the situation they're in, but the focal point is really on these two characters, and there are many times in the film where it's just showcasing their interaction and their dialogue and their relationship and who they are. And so if you're in it for the action, you might get bored during those times and you might disengage. I suggest this film for people who really care about the characters over the action. There is a heavy emphasis on what it means to be on the run from the police and how the society and how the public reacts to the situation. And I'll discuss more of that in a second, but it is a very unique play on the film, and I think it helps add an extra dimension of realism and engagement to the film. In terms of what's unique about this film, I would say first and foremost, the acting is fantastic. These are seasoned actors who are in their element. You can really tell Queen and Slim are portrayed beautifully by these actors, and altogether, all the other supporting characters are also well acted. Each have their own identity and uniqueness and add an element to the story that helps make it better. The directing and cinematography is fantastic as well. It's really beautifully shot. A lot of the angles are unique and fresh and help bring vibrancy to the film. As they escape and are on the run, they go through a variety of landscapes and areas, and those are all very engaging to watch, and it's awesome to see them learn and grow as they travel. The film also has a fantastic soundtrack, and I'll discuss a couple of the standouts in my Rogers Playlist Insta ads section in a second, but essentially, this song has a ton of fantastic music that really adds another depth and adds another level of engagement to this film that makes it even more fun, even more of an awesome ride. The film also has a fantastic sense of humor. The dialogue is really well written, but beyond that, it's edgy, it's modern, it's fresh. It offers a lot of beautiful insights into what society is now, what life is now, and who we are as a people. But also, it's very funny. These two have awesome banter back and forth. They have great chemistry that's developed over time, and through that development, they're a fun pair to hang out with. So now it's time for Rogers Playlist Insta Ads. So this is a section where I'm just going to discuss a couple of standout songs that I think are Insta Ads to playlists, but also songs that are in this film that help to make it better. So Insta standout is Yo Love by Vince Staples. You know, if you haven't listened to Vince already, you're missing out. I'm just gonna say that from now on because Vince Staples is OG. He has a new album coming out soon, which I'm very excited for, but this song is a classic that's fantastic and highly recommend. Also, Still Trippin' by Mike Jones. Fantastic song, very bouncy, very fun to listen to, and you'll probably have heard it in some TikToks or in movies in the past because it is relatively popular. Alameda by Solange is a fantastic song that's in this film that is smooth and beautiful. Solange is such a fantastic artist, and this song definitely embodies a lot of her vibe and spirit. And finally, Searching by Roy Ayers is a fantastic song that I highly recommend adding to your playlist as well. Now back to the film review. In terms of who would like this film, if you're a fan of romances, especially romance films that are situations built out of two characters being forced to be together, also fans of on-the-run films, films where characters are running from the police or on the run and those implications of what it means to be on the run. Fans of long, transformational, beautiful character piece films, you're gonna love this film. Films with timely and very important political commentary. You know, a lot of the themes discussed in the film, a lot of topics discussed in the film are things dealt with in real life on a daily basis. The world is not a safe place for people of color, specifically African Americans, because of a lot of the police violence that is going on currently right now. And it's such an important discussion and such an important topic that needs to change, right? This needs to change. People cannot be living in fear of the people who are out there to protect them. Police were created as a way to maintain society and to make everybody feel safe. So the fact that they are now the villains is horrific. More than that, it needs to be dealt with. And this film does a fantastic job of discussing what needs to happen, what is going wrong, what is the situation, and why does it occur. So all in all, I would highly recommend this film for pretty much everybody because I personally loved it and I think a lot of people would benefit from watching it altogether. I give this film a 4 out of 4, as in OPAF, best of the best. Highly recommend checking out. I think there's a lot of very fantastic insights that a lot of people can learn from, but also beyond that, the film does a step further and not only teaches the audience something, but also does a fantastic job of building characters that you care about, building characters that are so different yet have such fantastic chemistry. It's truly a fantastic romance film that I highly recommend to everybody. So now we'll be moving on to the Parents Guide, where I'll discuss a little bit about the content in this film so you can decide if you want to show it to your kids or youth or younger ones, or if this is a film best watched alone. So Queen and Slim is rated R, and that's mainly for sexual content and language. In terms of violence, I rated this film a 3.5. There's not too much violence, mainly, of course, the scene in the beginning when the physical altercation and the killing of the cop occurs. Of course, there's violence there, and even though the scene isn't too gory, there is gunshot and there's blood that's visible. There's also other scenes where there is blood and a little bit of violence, but again, it's not too much, and the scenes are relatively brief, and there's more of a focus on the characters than the violence. It's more focused on the value of a life and the importance of a life and how important it is to not have violence and to not be killing each other. In terms of sexual content, I give this film a 4 out of 5. There is one scene particularly that has very strong sexual content. There's female top nudity, male bottom nudity. It's a relatively graphic film scene, and it lasts for a bit, but beyond that, it's interspersed with scenes of a different incident, not sexual in nature, but because of that, it's a little bit hard to skip, as if you skip past the sexual scene specifically, you're gonna miss a lot of the content scenes, a lot of the scenes that reference an incident that occurs that's very integral to the film. All of this occurs at around an hour, 23 minutes in, 25 minutes in. There's also scenes where women wear very revealing clothing, as well as sexual references. In terms of language, I give this film a 4 out of 5. There's the F word often, the N word is used in this film, the S word is used in this film. There's a lot of language. It's not the level of 5 out of 5. It's not extremely prevalent, but it is there frequently. So I would not recommend this for younger viewers who maybe aren't accustomed to that level of language. So all in all, I would not recommend this for youth or younger audiences, even though there's a lot of amazing takeaways that could be beneficial for younger viewers. I think just the level of content, especially the sexual content and language in this film, it just wouldn't be beneficial for younger viewers, so I'd recommend 18 plus. So now moving on to a little bit about what you learn from this film, some takeaways, some important tidbits. I would say one of the most important things to pick up immediately out of the film, and something that we can all learn from, is police are not allowed to search your car. If they have a warrant, the only way they can do so is if they have a warrant. So if a policeman stops you on a traffic stop, where it's a normal traffic stop, there's no actual reasoning as to why he is searching for what he's searching or doing what he's doing, and if the policeman asks you, may I search your trunk, may I search your car, simply reply with, may I see your warrant. And I know this is difficult and it's not the same for everybody. Some people in some situations, it's going to be much harder to take this route because there's also that fear of your life, right? But also you need to keep in mind that legally, the police are not allowed to search your car without a warrant. And so you need to stress that idea of, I need to see the warrant before you can search my car. Even if you don't have anything hidden, legally speaking, they aren't allowed to search your car without a warrant. Don't give them verbal permission, because if you do, they are allowed to. As I mentioned before, Queen and Slim are very polar opposites, right? So Slim is very much a live in the moment, you know, life is about living type personality, whereas Queen is more plan for the future, you know, the future's important. Everything you should be doing should be preparing for the future. As I mentioned before, these two personalities clash heavily. It's very engaging to watch how they interact, how they play off of each other, and how situations get more complicated when you have to decide between one of these two options. In my opinion, I think the key there is balance. Make sure to live in the moment, because you don't know if you have a tomorrow. We could be sitting here and the sun could explode. A car could drive through the window. You know, there's all kinds of crazy situations that you might think are totally unrealistic, but then you read the news and people are dying insane ways. So because of that, it's important to keep in mind that, you know, you're not promised tomorrow. Nobody is promised tomorrow. You need to live your life to the fullest as you can now, you know, and go outside, enjoy the world, enjoy the people around you. Life is brief, so just enjoy it and love everybody. But beyond that, You know, there is a balance that needs to be struck there. You also do need to plan for the future. And what I mean by that is set goals for yourself and do the best you can to reach them, because the future is important. If you live only in the moment and spend all your money right now, and when situations get dark or difficult, you know, let's say you have a kid, in those situations you have a backup plan so that your future doesn't become way too complicated. The key there is to strike a balance between the two and focus on living in the moment, but also plan for the future and make sure that you always have a sense of as to where you want to go, what you want to accomplish, you know, what you want to do, and keep working at those goals. There's also a fantastic commentary on the idea of immortality and how a lot of people, and I'm not gonna lie, myself included, a lot of people want to be remembered. They want a legacy, they want something that they're remembered by. Whatever it may be, they want to be remembered. They want to have a place in society. They want to have some sort of function and role. So the film does a fantastic commentary on how legacy is important, but also the most important legacy is the impact you have on your family and the people around you. You know, that's how you're remembered. Don't stress too much about what my legacy will be, you know, who am I, whatever. Just focus on what you can control and work towards what your goals are, and you'll be happy. The film also has fantastic commentary on the impact of words. There's a situation where a child is motivated by Queen and Slim, and that situation doesn't necessarily have the best outcome. But it really shows how Queen and Slim have that power. More than Queen and Slim, everybody around you, everybody in the world has that power and influence with their words. You know, your words, depending on how you use them, can be used to influence others, can be used to hurt others. But it can also be used to better others and grow others and develop others. So pick the latter, you know, pick the option that allows you to grow and allows you to help others instead of hurting others, because words are so powerful, but also so impactful. And I personally think, you know, words are extremely powerful and they should always be used for good. And I encourage you to do the same. But all in all, I would highly recommend Queen and Slim, as I mentioned before. If you like romance films, if you like films with strong political commentary, if you like films with beautiful, very well-developed characters, then I'd highly recommend this film. Let me know in the comments below if you watched Queen and Slim, what you thought, if you liked it or not. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked this review, and until next time, catch y'all later.